What is up people on the interwebs? I hope you're having a spooktacular day, and in today's video we are going to discuss some of the most haunted pubs in the UK, because let's face it guys, the UK pretty much loves to drink. It's pretty ridiculous, you know, with COVID going on at the moment, everyone's locked into their households, but if you still want a pint at your local pub, you can still have it, granted only up to 10 o'clock, but you can't see your friends and family, but if you want a pint, you can go have one. So that pretty much gives the standards of how much Britain loves drinking. But anyway, enough joking around. Let's jump into some spooky tales of haunted pubs in the UK. So let's bring on the spooky atmosphere. So our first pub we are talking about is the Jamaica Inn in Cornwall. This pub was built in the mid-1700s, so there's at least 350 years of history in this pub alone, and with that much life experience there is no doubt it's going to have some spooky residents living in this pub. So there's so many things and activity or spookiness that's happened in this pub. It's actually appeared on a UK paranormal television show called The Most Haunted, and probably for paranormal shows out there for the UK, that's quite a top-notch horror show. So for it to get on a show like that, that's kind of showing the credibility of how haunted this pub is. It is said that in the dead of night you can hear horses' hooves on the cobblestone on the outer part of the pub, and the most tourist kind of famous part of this haunted pub, so it's said to be a man that haunts the pub. They believe that it's actually a local man who went in to have a pint one night, and he quickly went outside to get some fresh air or to do something, just going outside, so he left his pint on the bar, and then the next morning the landlord found his dead body on the moors just outside the pub, and ever since then he has haunted this place. They believe it was a murder, and the case is still unsolved to this day for how he ended up dead in the moors just across the pub. And the stuff he does in this pub is pretty spooky. It is said you can see him wandering around the pub whilst you're looking for his half pint. He leaves handprints on the windows, he moves furniture around, and I feel like the one that gives me the most kind of shivers down my spine is, it is said, so for how the pub's designed, they have a kind of beer garden, and then they have a brick wall, and once you pass the brick wall is the moors, and it is said you can see his black figure sitting on the brick wall facing all the moors. So to me that's definitely the most kind of spine chilling part. Imagine if you're a barmaid and you just clean up the pub and you just quickly look out the window and you see this kind of black figure just looking out on the moors. That would definitely give me the heebie-jeebies. It is also said as well, since the inn can take guests, so people who stay the night, they also experience the duvet being pulled off them at night, and also furniture moving in the middle of the night, which again is just terrifying. Like, I love sleeping, and for someone to pull the sheet off me at the middle of the night, and if you saw like a chair move or the bed or the wardrobe or any sort of furniture, I would be getting out of that pub for sure. So that's our first spooky pub of the video. Moving on to number 2. So this pub is called the Orchard Inn in Berkshire. Now this pub has to be the oldest one on our list for today. It was built in the 1100s, which is crazy. It is at least 900 years old, so that just blows my mind. That's crazy. And this one is really haunted. It's crazy how much history this pub has. So before it was called the Orchard Inn, it actually used to be called the Hospice, and it's quite a famous pub as well, since it is believed the legendary highwayman Dick Turpin used to use this pub as a hideout. But that's not even the most famous part of it. The other crazy part to this pub is that there's believed to have been at least 60 murders in this pub from the landlord and the landlord's wife, Mr. Jarman at the time. So what they did to kill 60 people is they had a bit of a side gig going on with the pub. Since it used to be an inn, it was very common for them to have wealthy guests come and stay in their pub. And what they did for one of the rooms is they kind of turned it into a murder room. So with the bed, they kind of put it on hinges, so the bed would kind of tilt up like this, and underneath the floorboards they made a trap door, and under the trap door they would have a massive pot of burning liquid. So during the night when the wealthy guests went to bed, they would lift the hinges on the bed so it would tilt up and open the trap door, so these guests would fall in a pot of burning liquid and die, and all their wealthy expensive items they brought with them they would then sell to the local gypsies around them and make a side hustle like this. And to be honest, what's even more crazy, like, they got away with this for at least 60 people, and how they got caught is there was a lot of commotion going on about all these people disappearing in this pub, and a local reporter came to investigate it, and they tried really hard to kill him, and the local reporter just had a bad feeling about the landlord and his wife. And so the landlord, or the landlady actually, tried to drug him a few times. That didn't work. When they took him to his room, he was going to sleep on the bed, but he just had a bad feeling about sleeping on the bed, so he decided to sleep on the chair next to the bed. And then during the night he heard the hinges of the bed tip up, the trapdoor open, and everything was exposed. He got out, told the police, and that's how they got caught. So it's crazy that this person just had a bad feeling about the landlord and lady, and that was history. That's how they got caught. So crazy that they got away just by the guy having a bad feeling. So always important, guys, to trust your intuition. If you don't feel like this ain't right, there's definitely a reason why. So that bit just blows my mind. But there's still more to this pub. I haven't finished the tales at all yet. So it's also said that a Victorian lady haunts the pub as well. It's very common to see a old-fashioned lady dressed in Victorian clothing walk along the hallways. And the two most haunted parts of the pub now, if you went to go visit it, would be the upstairs restaurant, since the upstairs restaurant used to be the bedroom where they would do all the murders, so they renovated that into a restaurant. And it would also be the ladies' bathroom. It's very common if a lady goes into the bathroom, the temperature will drop suddenly, and that's because that used to be the pantry of the pub. So that's where the landlord and lady would store the dead bodies while they were finding a place to go hide them forever. It's also quite common to hear sounds and noises in the night, and it's also said that a lot of items move in the middle of the night. So a lot of history in the Orchard Inn. So that is just crazy. And the thing, it just blows my mind that they got away with killing 60 people, and they probably would have kept getting away with it if the reporter didn't have his intuition telling him something was off about the place. So yeah, just crazy. Moving on to our third and final tale of the day. So our third and final pub is called the Golden Fleece, and this one is based in North Yorkshire. So this pub was built in the 1600s, and there is definitely a few kind of famous ghosts living in this pub, or they have quite a few ghosts with names and a history. So they've had a few, I would say, probably more accidental deaths in this pub than anything. So the one that's believed to have the most activity is a ghost called Jeff Monroe. So he was a Canadian airman who stayed in the pub in 1945. He stayed in room number 4, and for some reason, just in the middle of the night, he just threw himself out the window and killed himself. So it's said if you stay in room 4, it's very likely you will see his ghostly apparition in his full airman army suit. and it's also common for him to pull the sheets away from you if you're in bed, also hover over you if you're lying in the bed. And the thing that I just find the most rude is if you've got towels or clothes on the towel rail or on the side, so if you've unpacked, he's just going to pull them all off and throw them and make the place look absolutely a mess. So in my book, in some ways, I'd rather have him do all the spooky stuff, but don't put all my clothes and towels on the floor. I'll make it tidy for a reason, and same for the maid. So he needs to be a bit more respectful to the room he's haunting in my books. But another famous ghost that's quite common to be seen as well is a lady called Anne Peckett. So she used to be the wife of the Mayor of Yorkshire a couple of 100 years ago. It's quite common to see her walking through hallways. It's actually said that in a 2002 ghost tour that the group saw her walking through a hallway. So if you went on that ghost tour, you definitely got your money's worth for sure, because let's be real, if you're going on a ghost tour, you want to see some ghosts. It's also quite common to see another ghostly figure called One-Eyed Jack, and if you see him, he will be wearing a red cape and he's going to be holding a pistol. And the one that I just find the most sad out of it all is it's quite common to see a little boy wandering around the pub as well, and it is said that he died by accident as a horse and cart came to the pub. He accidentally got trampled by the horses, so it is said he haunts the pub due to this accident. And I'm not gonna lie guys, I think for English haunted pubs it's quite common to have little boys or little girls haunting pubs due to the accident of being trampled by horses. As when I used to go to university in Hertfordshire, there was a pub down the road in St Albans, and they had a little ghost girl for the exact same reason that she got trampled. So yeah, really sad, and definitely probably not a good time to be a child in the kind of probably 1100s or up to probably 1800s, or just really when horses and carts, because it was quite common to get trampled. So really such a sad way to go in those kind of times. But those are all of our 3 haunted pubs for today's video. So let's remove the spooky atmosphere. So those are the few haunted pubs I found that I thought were fairly interesting. There's one pub I just want to quickly mention now, since I was kind of umming and ahhing if I should put it in today's video, but there's just kind of one thing that kind of just put it over the edge just to give it a quick mention, as I thought this part was really interesting. So this pub is called the Devilstone Inn and it's in Devon, and it's kind of the typical haunted pub. It has creepy noises in the middle of the night, items move, furniture moves, you can hear footsteps and you can see the odd shadow here and there. So that's kind of like the bar I give for haunted pubs. But the one thing that kind of just pushed it that little bit high, worth to mention quickly now, is the reason it's got its name is there's a fairly big stone at the front, and every 5th of November on bonfire night it is said that the church bellman comes to the pub and flips the stone every year to keep the devil away. So that part I just found was really interesting, so worth just giving a quick mention now. So if you have enjoyed today's spooky video, then please leave it a like. Let me know in the comments down below what pub you found the most interesting, or if you have any spooky pubs or restaurants around where you live, then let me know. I would love to know any spooky places you have. And the hard thing with this video is there's so many places in England that are haunted just because how old the country is. Like when I went to uni, my university I went to was Hertfordshire, and just down the road was St Albans. They have at least 11 pubs in St Albans, and pretty much all of them were haunted. We actually did one year, we did a ghost pub crawl, so we went to all the haunted pubs. So maybe when we're out of COVID, maybe I'll go back to Hertfordshire or St Albans in particular, and maybe next Halloween I could get a group of friends and we can kind of film like a chill pub crawl for the channel for the Halloween spooktacular. I don't know, but it's just crazy. There's so many haunted places in the UK. You could have a well of time. I would definitely recommend, if you are a big spooky person and you love learning the history of spooky events and scary things and just kind of ghost tales in general, then book yourself a trip to England during October time, because there are so many places that are haunted. You will definitely have a great time if you are really interested in the kind of paranormal activity and just kind of ghost tales in general. But that's everything for today's video, and just remember guys, keep being awesome, keep being spooky, and I'll see you in the next terrifying video tomorrow. Bye!